high hopes. He had high hopes. He had high.
Welcome to a special edition of Null or Nothing. Null or Nothing is on drive times on Thursdays in Cleveland, Tennessee on 101.3 The Buzz, where we are brought to you by Cleveland Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Also, you can find the live video replay of all our shows on YouTube channel Null or Nothing. I'm your host, Jason Null, and I'm happy to be with you today to talk through some of the terminology we use on our show weekly. Some of the things that we talk about, like parlays and teasers and straight bets and money lines, and even every once in a while we'll throw in a round robin on you. But these are sports betting terms and different ways that you can play your picks, your sport betting picks, now legally in Tennessee. So this show is pureasgood.com sports betting 101. Online sports betting now legal within the state of Tennessee. There are no physical sports betting locations in Tennessee, only available as for online accounts. And we'll talk through some different options today as far as your online accounts are involved. There's three main players as we're really still brand new in the sports betting world here in Tennessee. The first player we'll talk about is Big Daddy C. He's a heck of a player. He has joined us again today to help us talk through this new landscape in Tennessee where legalized gambling is now to the forefront. Big Daddy C, how are you enjoying this legalized sports betting in Tennessee?
I love it. I love just sitting on my couch, pushing a button or two, and I'm in the game. It's really it's a good thing.
Definitely. So I know you being from the western side of Tennessee over in the Memphis area, you've had some legal sports betting options for several years now within a quick drive for you. In Arkansas, sports betting is now legal, and Southland Greyhound Park has a sports book, as well as Mississippi, where it's been legal for a little bit longer, and Tunica has sports books. So do you find yourself still going to the sports books and being at a physical sports book, or are you primarily just playing online now with these online opportunities?
Well, yes, lately, it's only been, 3 weeks in Tennessee. In those 3 weeks, I've just stayed here on the computer. But I do like the being in the physical location. It's good to be in there with 4 or 5 huge TVs and being able to watch them and having guys that you're rooting against or rooting with you and, just kind of having that crowd atmosphere. It's nice. So I'm sure I'll be still going down there occasionally, but for the convenience, it doesn't beat just sitting on your couch, pushing a button or two, and you're in the game.
That is definitely true. From a convenience standpoint, it's nice to be able to load that account and just jump on over there and make some plays. So I'll talk a little bit about how the different options and the different players that are out there for sportsbook casinos that are legal in Tennessee. As far as loading an account, I've really had no issues with that. I've used PayPal, and I have an MGM account and a FanDuel account. And then I also have the app loaded, but do not have any money loaded yet into a DraftKings account. I've had no real challenges getting the money into my account and then receiving the payouts quickly using PayPal. Big Daddy C, do you load your account with PayPal or do you use another method?
No, I use my bank debit card, which there's never no problem putting it in there. Obviously, they're going to make that as easy as possible. But I did happen to win last week, and I was ready for a withdrawal, and it took me forever. I looked and looked, and it wouldn't let me withdraw. So I finally had to figure out I had to sign up for what's called MGM. I think it was VIP withdrawal or something, and they wanted a little bit more information from you, your driver's license and this or that. So I filled out that form and punched in my my withdrawal then, and it was no problem after that. It was just filling out that form, and I think I did it on a Sunday afternoon, and my money was in the bank on Monday pending, and it was available to withdraw on Tuesday. So once I got the extra form filled out, it was relatively easy.
Okay. All right, that sounds like a winner. So pretty easy process so far of being able to load our accounts, and then when we're fortunate enough to win, to be able to take out our winnings and get it quickly. The first sports book that we can talk about that is legal in Tennessee is BetMGM. I feel like BetMGM of the three has the most aggressive promotions available. For example, if you're going to open a new account, they will do a 100% match up to $500. So what you would do is load in $500. Then you would place that $500. You want to bet all of it on one event or one game. And then if you win the game, you're going to get paid out the 500 stake you made plus the winnings. If you lose, you will get $500 back from MGM in free play bonuses. So, it's a free shot is what that is, a free shot. Big Daddy C, you've been playing MGM. What do you think about the MGM program?
I like MGM. Me and you signed up at the same time. Actually, you had called me and said, "Hey, do this. It's a good deal," and it was. And I like MGM a lot. They give you a lot of promotions, a lot of free plays. I was down and out, didn't have nothing left in my account, and I was digging through their promotions, and it said, "Click this button, and you have a free play." So I clicked it, and I got my free play, and I said, "Well, it's a free play. I'm going to take a 4-game parlay," and I took a 4-game parlay, and what do you know? I hit, and I was back in the game without reloading my account. Played all weekend, so it worked out great.
Yeah, I would agree. There's lots of promotions that you can scroll through when you're in there in your MGM account on the app. I was able to take advantage of that $10 Monday free play promotion you're talking about. But lots of promotions. I think the promotions are good with MGM. Next up, FanDuel. FanDuel is a viable option here in Tennessee now as well. FanDuel also offers teasers. Now, I didn't mention that before, but MGM does not offer teaser plays. And from hearing me talk a little bit about what I like to play in sports here, I love the teasers. Big Daddy C doesn't like the teasers quite as much as I do, but I felt that it was important to be able to play teasers, and so I opened an account with FanDuel. Again, good bonuses. Maybe not as aggressive as MGM, but a good bonus program as far as a deposit match. And then the ability to play teasers. I enjoy that. So I have an active account with money loaded with both FanDuel and MGM. Our third account that we'll talk about, our third option, are DraftKings. Now, DraftKings is many people are familiar with both FanDuel and DraftKings from fantasy play. And fantasy sports has been legal now for the better part of 5 years in our area. And many people have had DraftKings and FanDuel accounts for fantasy play. But now they offer the sports book and the sports betting. DraftKings very similar to MGM in my opinion, but not as good of a bonus program. So I went with MGM. How about you, Big Daddy? What do you know about DraftKings?
Yes, I had looked at their site. I didn't open the account, but I looked at their site, and yes, it was basically the same type of layout of the page, as far as placing your wagers. But I don't know if you previously stated, but their bonuses just weren't as good. I think they were only offering maybe 20% on your first deposit, which doesn't compare to 100%. So
That's right. That's right. Not aggressive enough when there's a lot better options out there.
Yeah, a lot better options. And the FanDuel, I opened my account. Actually, I was the one that told you to go get that, and I like them, but I think I prefer MGM better. I don't know why, if it's just because the first one I opened or because the promotions are a little bit better. The one thing I do like about FanDuel is right below your total, it'll tell you your yearly winnings or losing, so it's easy to keep track of. That's the one thing I do like about FanDuel.
All right, well, we've covered the three big players in the Tennessee market for legalized sports gambling: MGM, BetMGM, FanDuel, and DraftKings. I would encourage you to have more than one account, maybe not all three, but more than one account, so that you can get take advantage of the best bonus programs out there on a weekly basis and really maximize your money. That's the first part of being able to stay in this game is maximize the free money that's out there. You've got to take advantage of that. Also, with Bet MGM, you're going to earn points toward their MGM Life program, which if you are able to go to their physical properties, notably in Las Vegas and also in other states, you can cash those points in for meals and lodging and the different things that the casino points values bring you. So I think that's another powerful reason to have an MGM Bet MGM account. When we come back, we're going to dive right into how to bet. We've talked on this show about parlays and teasers and straight bets and money lines, and we're going to kind of go through each one of those different types of bets, so you'll have a good, familiar, general understanding of what options are out there. Now, there are plenty more options than the four that we're going to discuss today, but I think these are the foundational bets that you need to know if you want to become a sports handicapper and play these games. You want to know these four types of bets, and we were going to dive right into that when we return from break. This is Null or Nothing on 101.3 The Buzz. Welcome back to Null or Nothing Special Edition. This is the PureIsGood.com Sports Gambling 101 edition of Null or Nothing, where we're going to talk through the different types of wagers that you can now legally make in Tennessee. We're going to bring on Big Daddy C, who is a Big Daddy prognosticator. Big Daddy C has his own Twitter handle at Big Daddy C1000, where you can see all his plays, not just the ones we talk about on the show, and can see his commentary as the plays unfold during the games. Big Daddy C, what's your favorite type of bet?
Well, I'd say I have two. And one of them is the money line when you're taking the underdog and getting the odds. For instance, let's just say you got a 7-point underdog and you want to play the money line, just depending, but you might bet 100 to get paid back 180, or 190. Also like the parlays. That's a parlay is the ability to win a lot of money for a small wager. So those two are mine. I like to take something with a little meat on it always.
All right, that's understandable. That is understandable. So let's walk through these. Our first type of wager we'll talk about are straight bets, and it's the most common bet. It's the one that we talk about in the show mostly, and it involves a point spread or a point total for a game. If we were talking about baseball, it would be a run line. If we were talking about hockey, it could be a puck line. But those are straight bets, and the most common straight bets are on a team. As a team, either laying points or if you're catching points for the team. So, for example, Green Bay Packers are playing at home and they are facing the San Francisco 49ers. The Green Bay Packers are a 6.5 point favorite, and the total is 52.5. So, what this would mean is that if you are betting on the Green Bay Packers, they would need to win by more than 6.5 points for you to win your wager. So you are essentially giving 6.5 points to the other team. Conversely, if you were to bet on the San Francisco 49ers in this matchup, you would be getting 6.5 points. So you would add 6.5 points to the end of the game score for the San Francisco 49ers, and that would be on record for the bet. So in essence, you're gaining 6.5 points by taking the 49ers. You are laying 6.5 points by taking the Green Bay Packers. On the total side of things, 52.5, you can bet the over or the under. And so on this total play, if you wanted to bet the under 52.5, you are betting that the total points scored by both teams would be less than 52.5 points combined. So if the final score is 35-10, Green Bay, then Green Bay has won by more than 6.5, so Green Bay would be the straight bet winner. And 35 plus 10 is 45, and that would be less than 52.5 points for the total. So the game total would have gone under. Let's throw a different scenario. Green Bay wins 35-31 over San Francisco in a shootout. Well, now San Francisco has lost the game by 4, but they were getting 6.5 points. So when you add that 6.5 to their score, 31 becomes 37.5. So for betting purposes, Green Bay has lost the bet by a score of San Francisco 37.5, Green Bay 35. Now, the total score for the game, we said, was the official game score was 35-31, Green Bay over San Francisco 49ers. When you add those two scores together for both teams, it is 66. Well, we said the total for the game, as set by the odds makers in Vegas, was 52.5. So 66 combined score means that game went over the total. So when you hear us talking about over-unders, when you hear us talking about money lines, parlays, all that stuff, most of the time we're in reference to a point spread, okay? So the point spread is determined like as I just described, and that is what straight bets are. We're going to bring in Big Daddy C, who is the parlay guru. And Big Daddy C, walk us through a parlay and what a parlay is.
Well, like I said, the parlay is your chance to wager a small amount, but to win a big amount. And to do that, you have to pick, the minimum is a 2-game parlay, which means you pick 2 teams and they both have to win and cover the spread. So let's just say you like Tennessee and Alabama. Well, you would get a 2-game parlay, Tennessee and Alabama, and if they both win and both cover the spread, whatever that might be, if they were both favorites or if they're both underdogs, whatever, and they cover, you would get approximately 2.5 to 1 on a 2-game parlay. Obviously, the more games you put in there, the bigger odds you get. For example, a 3-game, you could get up to 6 to 1, a 4-game, 10 to 1, a 5-game, 25 to 1, a 6-game, 40 to 1, 7-game, 75 to 1, an 8-game, 150 to 1, a 9-game, 300 to 1, and a 10-game at 600 to 1. And that's the rough odds. You know, if you play the money line, or sometimes there are not always $110 favorite. Sometimes it's $120 favorite, and that'll change the odds a little. But those are approximate odds. And like I say, this is my favorite because it gives you the chance to wager a little but win that big amount.
So when you're playing, do you typically spread your bets out amongst 2-game, 3-game, 4-game, and even more parlays, or are you sticking mainly to a certain number of teams?
No, the majority of the time, what I like to do is I like to take my top 5, 6 picks, 4, 5, 6 picks, and put them in a parlay or 2. And just if they get there, I win. If they don't, I'll take my loss. But, you know, I find those as being achievable to hit, you know, a 4, 5, or 6 gamer. They're achievable to hit, and they have relatively good odds. The 10 gamers, I mean, you might hit one of those in your lifetime. But I like to stay with the 4, 5, and 6 gamers at decent odds.
All right. Well, I have an example here of a ticket for a 3-game parlay, and this 3-game parlay, the bettor wagered $200, so that's his stake. He risked $200, and there are 3 games in here: Auburn +2, Alabama -28, and South Carolina -3. All college football. If all 3 get there, the player's going to win $1,200 on that $200 wager on this 3-game parlay. Now, the payout would actually be $1,400 because you would get your $200 stake back plus your winnings, which is $1,200. Now, with the parlay, what happens, Big Daddy C, if you hit 2 out of 3?
Well, you're sad. You're depressed because 2 out of 3 won't get you in the window. That's a bad day. That's usually what happens on those 4, 5, and 6 gamers. You get just one shy. It's that's what happens on a lot of them. Just enough to make you want to go again next week. But that's very disappointing when that happens.
Okay, I agree. So, um, if you land on a tie in a parlay, then that is not an automatic loss. You want to check your sports book rules, but in any of your reputable sports books, you're going to have that drop down from. So if you have a tie on one game, that game is thrown out, and then it would go down to a smaller parlay. So it would go from a 3-game parlay to a 2-game parlay. Is that the way you understand it, Big Daddy?
Yes, there are a few places, and I've ran into one or two in Vegas and a place here or there. But most of the time, the best places, if you have a 3-gamer, and let's just say one of the lines is 7 and it lands on the 7, it is usually knocked down to a 2-gamer. Yes.
Okay. Well, so there's our information on parlays. So you can bet them. It has to be at least 2 teams. Um, you can make those wagers with 2 teams up to 10 teams at most places. The more teams that you have in your parlay, the greater the odds and the payout will be if you win the parlay. However, if one of the teams in the parlay loses, the whole parlay loses. Your entire stake, your entire wager is lost. If one of the teams or more of the teams ties in the parlay, if it's a tie versus the point spread, then that would drop down. That leg would be null and void. And if it was a 3-game parlay, then it would become a 2-game. If it was a 4-game, it would drop down to a 3-game. So that would change the payout, but it would not necessarily kill the bet if it lands on a tie. Round robins. Big Daddy C, tell us what you know about round robins.
Well, a round robin is a parlay. I'm going to give you, for instance, a round robin. Let's just say you like 3 teams. Let's just say you're going to do a 3-team round robin. Let's just say you like Tennessee, Alabama, and Arkansas. Well, there's a button on there that says round robin. So you would have those 3 teams in your basket over there, and you would push round robin. And what it'll end up doing is giving you 3 2-game parlays with Tennessee, Alabama, Tennessee, Arkansas, and then Arkansas, Alabama. So in a round robin, you really could lose one of the games, but you could still have a winning parlay play.
Okay, I'm following you. So a round robin is something that I really like to do. In fact, very seldom does a week go by that I don't bet round robins. Now I might not bet them for large amounts. I might what I'll do is I'll go through and I'll look at the what I call the card, the lineup for that week of sports, and I'll pick the games I like versus the point spread, as is. Now, not teasers, which we're talking about in a minute, but I like against the actual point spread, or we'll discuss money line in a minute, or that I like on the money line. Then I would take all of those games I like, and I would do a round robin of 2-game parlays. So let's just say there's 8 sides that I like. So I go through and I make those selection of the 8 sides. Then I do them in a round robin. So that's going to take 2-game parlay. Every combination of those 8 teams would be placed into a 2-game parlay. Now I might just bet $10. Each parlay for $10, but I'm getting every game I like parlayed together. Do you have to hit all 8 of them to make money? No. You need to hit more than you lose. So 5 out of 8 is your magic number. So I'm hopeful that if I can hit 5 out of 8 of the games I like against the point spread, the best way to maximize multiple games is to bet those round robins. So I'll give them a shot when when I'm not wanting to bet that many games in a straight bet. I'd rather just take a round robin parlay and hope that I'm right on more than I'm wrong. And so, to me, it gives you a lot of action, and it gives you a great way to test, how good your overall thought process on that entire card, that entire week is, and puts them in the round robin. Null or Nothing is brought to you by PureIsGood.com. Finally, luxury for the shower. Pure Bath, Body, and Mind features a huge variety of handmade shower steamers to clear your head, wake you up alert, or help you wind down. Just toss a shower steamer in the corner of your shower, then watch it fizzle and bubble. Amazing aroma will release from the steamer. Breathe in and enjoy. I'll tell you what, I love these all natural shower steamers. I can't get my day started without one. I love to toss that menthol eucalyptus in the corner, let that shower get good and hot, jump in there, and then have my sinuses cleared out, my senses awakened. I wake up fresh and I'm ready to run out of that shower and fire that laptop up and go make some really quality picks for this program and for myself. Pureisgood.com. Pureisgood.com, 4460 Keith Street, just across from Walmart and next to Cleveland Nutrition. Big Daddy C, have you tried it? I know you got those shower steamers and they changed your life. Have you tried anything else from pureisgood.com?
Well, I did. I tried the shower steamers, and I liked them. I enjoyed them. They make me feel like a champ, like I've dipped myself in the fountain of youth. But I wish I would have taken your advice a little earlier on those body bath bombs, because I guess it was a few weeks back. I woke up that Sunday morning wanting to just sit on my couch and watch the Masters, and my wife gets on me early. I had barely got breakfast down, and she was wearing me out. Let's move this chair from the kitchen to the den. I need you to blow the leaves out of the driveway, this and that, and this and that. It just wore me out the whole day. I mean, it was awful. It was like torture.
Oh,
So,
my goodness. We need to get Big Mama C on here and let her tell you what you're lacking around the house.
oh, yeah, she wore me out that day. It was a miserable day, one of the most miserable days I've had in a while. So on Monday, I made a plan. I said, I'm going back. I got to do it. I got to go back to pureisgood.com, and I got me a few of those bath bombs. So next weekend rolled around, and about Sunday at, about 11:30, I told her I'd make her lunch. So I made her some of those big old juicy turkey burgers, because, turkey's got a little, what is that, tryptophan or?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
I
got a
made
little
her
tryptophan in it.
Yeah, well, I made her a turkey burger, and I said, honey, let me draw you a good hot bath. So I made her a bath, and I threw one of those bombs in there. And next thing I know, she's sitting in there for about 30 minutes. I bring her a glass or two of her favorite wine and let her drink that. And she was just so relaxed and just left me alone all day. And then next thing I know, by about 2:30, she had gone and took her nap and had slept the rest of the day. So, I mean, that thing just relaxed her and just put her in a different place. And it was awesome for me, is what I'm saying. It just got her off my back, and she was feeling good and relaxed and made my afternoon great.
So take it from Big Daddy C1000. You need to go to pureisgood.com and get your significant other a wonderful basket of handmade soaps and bath bombs and shower steamers, and it'll just make your life better. I mean, would Big Daddy C lie to you? Nah,
Hey,
no way.
and Christmas is just around the corner. I'm telling you, don't give your dad that old tie or that hat that says number one dad again this year for Christmas. Get him one of those shower steamers. I mean, he'll feel like a champ. He'll love you. I mean, you'll go from last on the list of siblings to numero uno. I mean, he'll love it.
I think
Get your
you're
mom
right.
a good
I think you're
bath
right.
bomb.
Pureisgood.com for all your holiday needs. Get Dad some shower steamers or even some long rifle beard products. Boy, those are nice too. I use those on this beautiful beard right here. All right, let's get back to it, Big Daddy. Let's get right back to it and let's jump into money line wagers. Money line wagers we talk about on the show, and money line wagers they do not require a point spread. So basically, if you're betting the money line, you're going to lay odds. A team is going to be favored, or they're going to be an underdog. Simply put, it's betting on the team to win that game regardless of score. So if you're just wanting to bet a team to win, then a money line wager is maybe the easiest way to follow, and it might be what you need to take the point spread out of play. Now that said, you're trading off. So let's go back to our example of Green Bay Packers minus 6.5 at home against the San Francisco 49ers. All right, so if you're going to bet Green Bay on a straight bet, you're going to lay 6.5 points. But we're talking about money line, where Green Bay just has to win the game. All right, so if you're taking a favorite to just have to win the game, it doesn't matter if they win by 1 point or 100 points. As long as they win the game, you'll win your bet. But there's a trade-off. The trade-off is that you have to lay odds. And a 6.5 point favorite of Green Bay is going to be roughly minus 280. So for simple math, a 280 favorite, you're going to have to risk $280 to win $100. Now you can make the bet in larger or smaller increments, but so for simple math, 280 means you have to risk 280 to win risk 280 to win 100. So you're risking more money to take that favorite to just have to win the game. So should Green Bay win, you're going to get your $280 stake back plus your $100. You'll collect 380. You risk 280 and you put 280 out. You collect back 380. All right. If Green Bay loses the game, all right, then you lose the entire 280 that you risked to win 100. So if the favorite loses, you lose the stake. Conversely, if we're talking about an underdog, San Francisco was catching 6.5 point on the straight bet, so they would be about plus 240. There's always a gap and a space in between the money line favorite and the money line underdog. So if you're going to take Green Bay, you're going to be getting odds. So you're going to risk 100 to win $240 on Green Bay. I'm sorry, on San Francisco, who's the underdog in this hypothetical matchup. So if San Francisco wins the game at Green Bay and wins outright, you would get back your stake of $100 plus your winnings of 240. So you would risk 100 to get 240 in winnings, 340 total payout, the stake and the winnings. If San Francisco were to lose that game, where they were the underdog, a $2.40 underdog, you would just lose your $100 stake. So you're risking less to win more when you bet the underdog on the money line. You're risking more to win less when you bet the favorite on the money line. Big Daddy C, tell me a little bit about your history with money line bets and what your thought process is and when a money line bet makes sense.
Well, for me, I like the money lines. I like taking the underdogs to win outright when maybe it's a 6, 7, 8 point underdog. I like taking them on the money line. I do not like taking a 6, 7, or 8 point favorite on the money line. I don't like putting up that big money to win a little. I'm always the guy that wants to put the little and win the big. So I'm in favor of the money line on the underdog when it's 6, 5, 6, 7, 8 points, and I get a little extra. The only time I would play the money line on the favorite, maybe if it was 2 or 3 and I thought it was going to be close and I just wanted them to win, then I might pay the little bit of extra and get it down to just a pick 'em. But that's kind of my view on it. I like it when I get the big odds. I don't like laying the big odds.
Yeah, I like it from a standpoint of just having a team win the game. And I'll use it on a favorite, maybe 3.5, 4, and down, uh, because I feel like I'm laying a little odds, but I can take out uh, that winning by a field goal and not covering, or kicking a field goal to win by 1 point and not covering. I'll take it sometimes there. Where I really like to take money line though is in parlays. You can parlay those big favorites or even the underdogs with uh, other bets, and it brings those odds down. So let's take an example. Back to our Green Bay hosting San Francisco example. Green Bay at $2.80 favorite. If I like them and I parlayed that game with another game I liked, so let's say I liked a straight bet of Detroit Lions -3 at home against the Philadelphia Eagles, then I could parlay those two together, risk 100, and probably get back somewhere in the range of 180 to $220. Then I'm not having to risk all that money on the favorite, but I have to have two things happen to win. So it's thinking through it, piecing your bets together the right way. What's your biggest
Yeah.
money line win through the years? Can you think of something you took on the money line that worked out well for you?
Uh, I know there's been a few. I can't think of the exact team, but I know there's been a few. Maybe like a 300 is a big one that I've won on before, but I can't think of that exact team. What I wanted to tell you though is, did you see on the news a few days ago where that Green Bay was wasn't it 14-point favorite over Jacksonville? And I heard that some guy in Vegas had put 99,000 to win 9,000. What a sweat that guy had on a big money line favorite.
What a sweat! I mean, so he does that. Bets 100,000 to win. How much did you say he could win off of it?
9,000.
So he risks 10-1 on Green Bay as a 14-point favorite, and you know, if you're sure it's going to happen, that's $10,000, basically easy money. But you're risking 100,000 to get it, and he had to sit there and sweat a last-second drive inside 2 minutes with Jacksonville the ball and a chance to score and win on the Green Bay side of midfield. So
Yeah.
he earned that 10,000. He sure had to worry about it.
Oh, he didn't have a fingernail left on his hand. I mean, he was sweating that one. That was as close as it could get. I mean, that's going to hurt losing 100,000. I don't care who you are. That's going to do a little damage, I would think.
Yeah, and that's I would never touch that. I would never bet a money line on a favorite that big, especially in NFL where we know parity is king, and the likelihood of an upset of a 14-point dog is not actually 10-1. It's greater than that. I'll tell you my best money line bet of recent history. You gave it to me. I thought you might bring it up. Is the Minnesota Vikings at Green Bay 3 weeks ago in Lambeau, where they were a plus 240 favorite underdog, and I bet my entire stake in MGM of $1,000 on that underdog to win outright, and Minnesota had a great second half, ran the ball all over Green Bay, won outright, and got me back a nice payout. So that was a good pick on the money line, big guy. You need to come with more of those.
Yeah. Well, you called Minnesota. I just put you on the right bet. I can't take credit for the pick. I just put you on the right play.
Well, that's what we're talking about here today. Is there's a lot more to picking a game, how to play it to maximize your opportunity. We talked earlier in the season about the New York Giants in a futures bet to win the NFC East at plus 900, and now that bet looks pretty strong.
Yeah, I'm still kicking myself for the week before not getting on them when they were playing Washington, and I thought they were going to beat Washington that week. So, and they were 2,200. So I'm really kicking myself that I didn't. I did get on them the following week at 900. I just kind of got busy and forgot, let it slip away that first week. But wow, would I like to get on at 2,200.
I'm Jason Nall, and I'm your host of Nall or Nothing. Nall or Nothing is brought to you by Cleveland Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. We're going to take our final break. Don't you go anywhere because we're about to talk about teasers.
Cause he had high hopes, he had high hopes.
Welcome back to Nall or Nothing, brought to you live on 101.3 The Buzz, drive times every Thursday. And then you can catch the video replay of Nall or Nothing each week on YouTube channel Nall or Nothing. I'm Jason Nall. I am your host, and I am proud to be with you this afternoon. Shave like your granddad. Pure features Long Rifle Soap Company shaving and beard products formulated with botanicals like aloe and extracts of seaweed, buckthorn, chamomile, and calendula. You'll love the conditioning feel and the long-lasting scent. Classic scents like Brown Bess, cherry tobacco pipe smoke blended with a hint of leather, and Long Rifle's award-winning scent, 1776. 1776 is a slight menthol of cigar leaf with woody notes of mahogany and cedarwood. Let me tell you, pure offers this Long Rifle Soap Company shaving products, and they make my beard sing. I love them. They keep me conditioned and growing and looking great. So, Long Rifle Soap Company, they'll take your mornings from good to great. Pure is located at 4460 Keith Street, just across from Walmart and right next to Cleveland Nutrition. Also, 24/7, 365, anywhere in the United States, pureisgood.com can ship you the best products for your bath and body needs made from the best ingredients on earth. pureisgood.com. All right, we're in our final segment of Sports Gambling 101, and Big Daddy C and myself have tried to go through the different options for legal sports betting in Tennessee. We talked about MGM, DraftKings, and FanDuel as legal options to have an account and place your legal online wagers in Tennessee. And then we've talked through the different types of sports betting wagers that we reference throughout our programs. We're kind of giving you the 4 foundational bets for sports betting, the things that you should know before you venture into opening an online account and playing the games with anybody. So we've talked about straight bets, and straight bets are against a point spread or a total amount of points scored per team. We've talked about money line bets, and money line bets are where you lay odds or you get odds, depending on if you're betting on the favorite or the underdog. However, that team must win the game. The team must win the game, and point spreads do not matter. We talked about parlays and the different ways we like to use parlays, and parlays can be anything from a 2-game parlay up to a 10-game parlay. They can include different events, different games, different styles of bets. You could match up money line with straight bets in a parlay. You could do all straight bets. You could do all money lines, different combinations. And the final product that we're going to talk about, the final avenue for betting is teasers. And teasers, I really like. They're a huge part of my strategy on a weekly basis. Really like teasers in the NFL. We'll talk about that here shortly. So a teaser, you're gonna when you bet a teaser, we're only going to talk about 2-game teasers today. Okay, 2-team teasers. So with 2-team teasers, you're able to make a single bet, which involves 2 teams, and then you can adjust the point spread in exchange for a lower return. So what that means is you can adjust the point spread. And we're going to stick with this example game of San Francisco 49ers at Green Bay Packers. Green Bay Packers are a 6.5-point favorite. The over-under is 52.5. So let's say in a 2-game teaser, we want to take the Packers, but we just want them to win the game. We get 6 points to use, which used to reduce the point spread in that game. So we would take the Packers minus 6 points off of their spread. So now they're only laying a half, which means that they win the game, which would be by 1 point or more. That part of the teaser would work. Then you have to pair it with something else. It could be another football game. It could even be a basketball game. We'll get to basketball in a moment. We're talking primarily about football today. So let's say we want to pair it with our other example bet, which was the Detroit Lions were a 3-point favorite against the Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles at the Giants. Well, I want to take the points up. I like the Eagles to keep this game close. I can take that 6 points I get with both sides of my teaser, add it to the point spread, and now I have the Philadelphia Eagles not +3, but I add 6 to it +9. What that essentially has done is taken me through critical numbers 4, 3, 4, 6, 7, and 8 are all now covered. Those are big numbers that games land on in the NFL. So if the Philadelphia Eagles can play a competitive game, 9 is likely enough points to get them home. So I've got a 2-game teaser. Let's say I'm betting $100 On a 2-game teaser, I've got the Green Bay Packers minus a half and the Philadelphia Eagles plus 9. I have to risk 120 to win $100. So I'm laying usually 20% juice on a teaser. I'm going to pull up an example ticket of a teaser. Which it would have the adjusted point spread of your two teams together. This is the Patriots and the Broncos, an example ticket I was able to find. So you're going to have both your two teams together with the adjusted point spread on your ticket. Now, the one thing I'll say when we talk about teasers is, again, you have to have both sides hit, okay? They both have to win. If it lands on a tie in a teaser, that is many times a loss. You have to look at your house rules of the sports book you're betting with. Some would say a tie and a win on the other side would be a no bet. Some would say any tie in a teaser is a loss. Look at the house rules of the particular sports betting house you are using to understand that going into your teaser plays. Big Daddy C, that's my rundown of teasers. Tell me your view on teasers.
Well, I'm going to keep this real short and sweet on teasers because I'd like to spend just a minute or two with a little betting strategy for some people out there. But teasers, it's all in the name. It's a teaser. All it does is teases you. If you pick it, you should be able to get it on that line. That extra points usually never makes a difference. If you pick the right side from the beginning, why do you need those extra points? So in my opinion, teasers are awful. Don't like them. Never play them. It's all in the name. It's a teaser. You got to lay odds and you got to get them right. So my personal opinion, don't like them.
Okay, I think they definitely have their place, and I think NFL is the prime place for them. I would not bet them in basketball. Basketball, you only get 4 points per side versus 6, which I never have understood because there's many more points scored in a basketball game than a football game. You should get more points instead of less points in football. So you'll never hear me talk about a teaser in basketball, but you will in football, and I really like teasers in the NFL. One, the sports books, the casinos do a really good job with NFL lines. And so if they're setting the lines well, you're getting 6 points on either side of that line. That's going to put you in an advantageous position. Two, NFL games tend to land on critical numbers more often than not. -1, -3, -4, -6, -7, even up to -11. Those are 10 and 11. Those are numbers that games land on. Now, with the advent of the 2-point conversion and with the field goal, with the kick being moved back longer for extra points, we're only making about 85% extra points now. That maybe has messed my theory up just a little bit on games landing on critical numbers. 3 was always the high. They land 15% of NFL games land on 3. But now you're seeing that 7 is coming in there very close to 3. Both of those two combined, 3 and 7, 30% of games land on that number. So, Big Daddy C, you don't think that they set the lines good enough in Vegas that you can just put anything together and hit a teaser?
Well, I think there are a few good examples. Like you said, that, for instance, you were doing with the Green Bay Packers. If you had a favorite that's 6.5 and you could take them down to a half and just have them as a winner, I like that. Maybe if you have somebody that's 2.5 or 3 and you could take them up past the crucial numbers up into the 9, yes. But those would be my only ones. Taking that 20 or 18 point favorite and trying to tease it one way or other, I think you're wasting your time. Even a 10, you still got some crucial numbers that beat you. I think there's a few good spots. Like I say, if you get somebody maybe 6.5 and can take it down to just to pick them, or you take somebody at 3 and maybe take them up to close to 10 and get the crucial ones in there, maybe those two are good ones. But besides that, I'm not a teaser fan, no.
Well, I think there's a time and place for teasers. I think you definitely need to understand them, as well as parlays, as well as round robin parlays, as well as money lines, and then, of course, straight bets. If you know and understand those 4 areas of sports betting, then you have your basis to try to put together your bets. You want to look at your games. You want to form a strategy. Big Daddy C mentioned the strategy. We're going to toss it to him and let him give us his strategy for putting together a weekend worth of sports bets.
Well, I just want the people out there to think like a winner and wager responsibly. And thinking like a winner is thinking if a team's won 5 in a row, think they can win 6 in a row, think they can win 7 in a row. If they've covered 5 in a row, think they can cover 6 and 7. Don't be the Johnny Mac Johnson do factor player saying it's time. They've won 5 in a row. It's time for them to lose. No, it's not. Don't be the Johnny Mac do factor thinking they've covered 4 in a row. It's time for them not to cover. That's a horrible way of thinking. That's loser mentality. Don't do that.
Well,
Look,
now, I mean, you got to look at it. These guys in Vegas, their job is to put a fair line out there. A point spread attracts action on both sides. When you're trying to stop a streak, you're trying to say, hey, I believe in these sports books and they're handicapping and the lines they're setting, and they can't be wrong that many weeks in a row.
well, let me just tell you this. You want to be a streak player, not a streak breaker. And I'll tell you what got me off that. I was in Harris Casino 10 years ago, and I was at a roulette table, and I saw black 8 times in a row, and I had a wad full of money in my pocket. I said, well, I'm going to beat this streak. It's going red here. 9 I lost, 10 I lost, 11 I lost, 12 I lost, 13 I lost, 14 I lost, 15 I lost, 16 it finally went back. Well, you know what happened by the time it got to 16? I had 2 cents in my pocket. That was it. You want to ride streaks. The only way you win is riding streaks. You don't win breaking streaks, because when you break a streak, you only win once. When you ride a streak, you could win 3, 4, 5, or even 15 times in a row. You never win breaking streaks. You win riding streaks. And that's my tip of the day, is ride the winning streaks.
Big Daddy C says ride that winner. Ride them as long as you can. And he's right about one thing. If you're riding the streak, you can win several times in a row. If you're
And
stopping
if
the
you're
streak,
riding,
go ahead.
if you're riding the streak, you're only going to lose one time. If you're riding the streak, you're going to lose once and the streak's over.
That is some good strategy. I give you that. If you're riding the streak, you're only going to lose once. If you're trying to stop a streak, you could lose 3, 4, 5 times in a row, and you're only going to win once. So, Johnny Mac Johnson, a famed Greyhound gambler from the annals of Southland Greyhound Park, he thought of the do factor and said a team is due a poor effort or due to lose, or vice versa, due to win. You say Johnny Mac Johnson do factor is dead. It's not relevant in this modern time.
It's loser mentality. You're going to lose maybe 5 or 6 times breaking that streak. Have winner mentality. Have Big Daddy C 1000 mentality. Ride the streaks. If you lose once. If you get on a good winning streak, you win 5, 6, 7, 10 times in a row. Be a winner. Don't be Johnny Mac. Although I like Johnny Mac. I don't want Johnny Mac to ever hear this. He's a great guy, but he simply had loser mentality with trying to break streaks. I'm not saying it doesn't happen and you never break.
Johnny Mac is our word for the day. Don't be Johnny Mac. Phrase of the day on All or Nothing is don't be Johnny Mac. We're going to close out this special edition of All or Nothing, where we've kind of gone through some sports betting 101 items. We want to thank our sponsors, pureisgood.com and the Cleveland Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. Hope you learned a little bit today. If you didn't, hit us up on Twitter at BigDaddyC.com and or excuse
Big
me,
Daddy
at
C 1000.
BigDaddyC1000 on Twitter. Ask us any questions you may have. Reply back to our YouTube video. Please like our channel, Null or Nothing, on YouTube channel. And tune in to us live on 101.3 The Buzz every Thursday during drive time. For Big Daddy C, I'm your host, Jason Null, and we'll see you next week.
'Cause he had high hopes.